In this movie, I'll show you how to load my custom keyboard shortcuts, which are known as D keys, and I'll also walk you through the new shortcuts that are available to you. What you want to do if you're working along with me is go to the 23 settings folder inside the exercise files folder. And those of you, by the way, who are not premium members, you can still download these D keys from the site. Then you want to locate the file called dkeys.pscs6.kys and right-click on it and then choose Open With and choose Adobe Photoshop CS6. And that'll prevent the shortcut file from accidentally opening inside Premiere. That should go ahead and automatically switch you to Photoshop, as it has in my case. Now, you won't see anything different until you go up to the Edit menu and choose the Keyboard Shortcuts command, which, as you can see, has its own shortcut of Mash Your Fist K. So Control-Shift-Alt-K on the PC or Command-Shift-Option-K on the Mac. And you'll see that your set has switched to Photoshop Defaults modified in parentheses. And what you want to do is click on the little hard drive with the ... That's your Save As icon. And as you can see, I've already saved a D keys file. I did that back in the intermediate course. I'm going to name this guy so I don't save over it. D keys PSCS6, like so. And then click the Save button. You can call your shortcuts anything you like, by the way. And then, just to make sure the shortcuts have loaded successfully, go ahead and twirl open the File menu, and you should see that Open a Smart Object now has a keyboard shortcut of Control-Shift-Alt-O or Command-Shift-Option-O on the Mac. Assuming that's the case, go ahead and click OK, and you now have my shortcuts loaded. All right, let's talk about what that means. I'll go ahead and minimize Photoshop. And notice in this 23 settings folder, we also have a couple of HTML files. One is a list of the Macintosh shortcuts, and the other is a list of the Windows shortcuts. I'll go ahead and minimize this folder window as well, so that you can see that I've loaded both shortcut files in the background. And notice that the PC shortcuts over here on the left-hand side and the Mac shortcuts over on the right-hand side are organized differently because the Macintosh version of Photoshop includes a Photoshop menu, which does not appear on the PC. I've gone ahead and annotated the Command key using the cloverleaf character, which actually appears on the keyboard. And I've listed every single shortcut that's available to you, whether I created it or not. My custom keyboard shortcuts appear in red throughout the table. So let's walk through a few of them here. First of all, you can open an image as a smart object by using that shortcut. Then I've given you a shortcut for the place command as well. And if you scroll down a little bit, you'll see that I altered the shortcut for paste in place to Control-Alt-V instead of Control-Shift-V. That would be Command-Option-V on the Mac. And that allowed me to assign Control-Shift-V or Command-Shift-V on the Mac to creating a variations adjustment layer. I've given you a shortcut for the stroke command under the Edit menu as well. Very useful command. And Control-Shift-P or Command-Shift-P on the Mac will now bring up the preset manager. We've got a couple of shortcuts to assign or convert to color profiles. I've created a new shortcut for brightness contrast, which is Control/, that's Command/ on the Mac. And if we keep going down here, you'll see right there is Control-Alt-H or Command-Option-H for shadows highlights. On the Mac, Command-Option-H or Control-Alt-H normally invokes the Hide Others command, which is why I've adjusted that keyboard shortcut for you. You just need to add the Control key now. So it's Command-Control-Option-H in order to hide others, and also notice Command-Control-H will hide Photoshop, and that's because Command-H or Control-H on the PC hides the selection outline. I've given you a new shortcut for desaturate, which is Mash Your Fist U, so Control-Shift-Alt-U on the PC, Command-Shift-Option-U on the Mac. You can see that we've got a slew of shortcuts for whole image operations, such as rotating the image clockwise, which is Mash Your Fist right bracket, that's Control-Shift-Alt right bracket on the PC, or Command-Shift-Option right bracket on the Mac. I've given you a shortcut for the trim command, which is Control-Shift-Alt-C. That C is for cropping away the blank pixels. That's Command-Shift-Option-C on the Mac. We've got Control-Shift-Alt or Command-Shift-Option-D for duplicate, and Control-Shift-Alt or Command-Shift-Option-L for the calculations command, which is this advanced masking function, which we'll take a look at in the mastery course. Moving right along here, we've got Control-Shift-O or Command-Shift-O for blending options. And notice here, I've given you a shortcut for deleting the filter mask, just because Photoshop always gives you a filter mask, and you may or may not want to use it. And that's Control-Alt-Q here on the PC or Command-Option-Q on the Mac. We've now got Control-Shift or Command-Shift keyboard shortcuts for the best of the adjustment layers, so that should come in handy for you. We've got Control-Comma and some variations, that's Command-Comma on the Mac, in order to convert an image to a smart object. And you can see down here, Control-Alt left bracket or Command-Option left bracket on the Mac will go ahead and reverse the order of selected layers. And then finally, where the commands are concerned, I've given you Control-Shift-Alt-A or Command-Shift-Option-A on the Mac to flatten the image. In the past, I've used Control-Shift-Alt or Command-Shift-Option-F. However, that's been reassigned to finding layers inside Photoshop CS6, so my reasoning was the A is for flatten all. I'm going to go ahead and skip all the way down here to the tools, and you can look through your chart if you like to see what else has changed. But notice that I've given you the N key to switch between the blur, sharpen, and smudge tools, because by default they don't have shortcuts and the N key goes unused. And then finally, way down here, if you're working inside a hue saturation, black and white, or curves adjustment layer, then you have access to this thing called the target adjustment tool. And I've given it a keyboard shortcut of K because K was the only key left. All right, so that takes care of your new custom shortcuts. You should be able to power through the software that much more efficiently. In the next movie, I'll show you Macintosh folks how to adjust your operating system level shortcuts so that they don't interfere with Photoshop, so everybody gets along. Those of you working on a PC can skip ahead to the movie after that, in which we'll take a look at preference settings.